Hi, my name is Simon. And I am here to make you familiar with phrases related to work interview and work visa. What position are you applying for? Can you tell me about your previous work experience? Why do you want to work in this country? What skills do you bring to the job? Do you have any professional certifications? How long have you been working in this field? Can you describe your current job? Why do you want to leave your current job? What makes you a good fit for this position? Have you worked abroad before? How will you handle the cultural differences? Do you speak the local language? What is your long-term career plan? Are you willing to relocate for this job? How do you handle stress at work? Can you work under pressure? What do you know about our company? How did you hear about this job opportunity? Why should we hire you over other candidates? What are your salary expectations? Are you comfortable working in a team? How do you resolve conflicts at work? Can you work independently? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? Have you ever been promoted? How do you stay motivated at work? Do you have any experience managing people? How do you prioritize your tasks? Can you give an example of a challenge you faced at work? How do you improve your skills? What software are you familiar with? Do you have experience working with international clients? How do you handle deadlines? Can you work overtime if needed? Are you open to learning new skills? How do you manage your time at work? What is your greatest professional achievement? Can you work flexible hours? Do you have any questions about the job? Why do you want a work visa for this country? How long do you plan to stay? Have you applied for a work visa before? Do you have any family in this country? Can you provide references from previous employers? How do you plan to contribute to our company's success? What is your experience with remote work? What do you know about the work culture here? Have you researched the cost of living in this country? How do you adapt to new environments? Can you describe your work ethic? Are you familiar with the labor laws in this country? Do you have any travel restrictions? How do you handle feedback from supervisors? What is your preferred work environment? What motivates you to perform well at work? Are you able to multitask? How do you handle unexpected challenges at work? Have you ever trained a new employee? How would you describe your communication style? What do you expect from your employer? How do you stay organized? Have you worked with people from different cultures before? What are your career goals? How soon can you start working? What do you know about the work visa process? Do you need assistance with relocation? How will this job help you achieve your goals? Can you provide proof of your qualifications? What are your expectations for professional development? Have you completed any work-related training? How do you approach problem solving at work? Do you have any questions about the work visa process? Are you familiar with the visa application requirements? Have you prepared all the necessary documents? Do you have a valid passport? Are you aware of the visa fees? What will you do if your visa application is rejected? Have you checked the visa processing time? Are you ready to relocate immediately if your visa is approved? What are your thoughts on working abroad? How do you plan to adjust to living in a new country? Have you reviewed your employment contract? Do you need help understanding the visa regulations? What is your expected start date? Have you researched the job market in this country? How do you handle changes in the workplace? Do you have a backup plan if your visa is delayed? What challenges do you expect in your new role? How do you handle working with different personalities? Have you thought about any potential language barriers? Do you need assistance with finding accommodation? What is your experience with work-life balance? How do you ensure productivity in a new job? What is your strategy for settling into a new workplace? How do you handle work-related stress? What do you know about the industry trends? How do you stay current with developments in your field? Can you explain a situation where you showed leadership? What is your approach to teamwork? How do you ensure quality in your work? What motivates you to succeed? How do you handle constructive criticism? Can you describe a time when you missed a deadline? What strategies do you use to meet your goals? How do you maintain a work-life balance? What are your thoughts on professional networking? How do you build relationships with colleagues? What role do you usually take in group projects? Have you ever had to manage a difficult coworker? How do you stay organized during busy periods? What is your experience with project management? How do you handle repetitive tasks? What do you enjoy most about your work? How do you respond to changes in the workplace? Can you describe a successful project you completed? How do you prepare for an important meeting? What do you consider to be your biggest challenge at work? How do you evaluate your own performance? What kind of work environment do you thrive in? What skills do you hope to develop in this position? What techniques do you use to solve problems? How do you ensure clear communication with your team? What are your thoughts on remote work? How do you deal with tight deadlines? What is your strategy for managing projects? How do you prioritize your professional development? What are your long-term career aspirations? Can you describe a time when you exceeded expectations? What tools do you use to stay organized? How do you approach learning new technologies? What do you consider your greatest accomplishment? How do you handle stressful situations at work? What is your experience with customer service? How do you maintain motivation during challenging tasks? What do you believe is the key to a successful team? Can you give an example of your adaptability in the workplace? How do you manage your workload effectively? What is your approach to continuous learning? What role does feedback play in your work? How do you celebrate successes with your team? What is your philosophy on work-life integration? How do you define success in your career? What challenges do you anticipate in this role? Can you describe a time you worked with a diverse team? What is your process for evaluating job offers? How do you handle conflicts within a team? What skills do you believe are essential for this position? How do you approach setting and achieving your goals? What motivates you to perform at your best? How do you deal with ambiguity in the workplace? What experience do you have with budgeting and financial planning? How do you ensure you meet deadlines consistently? What do you find most rewarding about your job? Can you describe a situation where you took initiative? How do you keep track of multiple projects? What do you know about our competitors? How do you handle disagreements with supervisors? What techniques do you use to stay focused? How do you contribute to a positive work culture? What strategies do you use for effective delegation? How do you manage changes in your workload? What is your experience with performance reviews? How do you stay adaptable in a fast-paced environment? Thank you for your time. See you in the next video.